Hey everybody, this is Francis Cassidy, and this is my presentation on friction. Alright, in this picture we have a snowboarder, and as you can see with the blue arrows I put, that he is using sliding friction, also known as kinetic friction. And sliding friction is taking place because the snowboarder is sliding over the snow with his snowboard, hence sliding friction. And this is helpful friction because, if the snowboarder didn't have that material for a snowboard, or the shape for that matter, he wouldn't be getting down the slope anytime soon. So yeah. In this next photo I have right here, this is an example of rolling friction. And I don't know if you can see, I put circles around the shoe and stuff like that in the specific areas because the guy's foot is kind of rolling off of the ground. So, rolling friction is caused by adhesion, temperature, and deformation. And in the picture I have, this is deformation. And basically there's a lot more stuff to that. But this is also an example of helpful friction because if we didn't have rolling friction, we would probably be sliding all over the place on our feet. Because, if we didn't have traction or anything like that, we'd be sliding and slipping and we wouldn't get very far anywhere. Alright, in this next photo we have here, we have a mountain climber, and her rope is sliding through the snap link. So this is an example of sliding friction. And this sliding friction is actually harmful because after a while that rope's going to wear down and it's going to eventually break due to so much friction. And the way that it could be reduced is it has some sort, the snap link could have some sort of lubricant, or the rope could be made out of a different material, but eventually that rope's gonna have to be replaced. So yeah, this is an example of harmful friction. Alright, in this next photo I have here, this is a man swimming through the water, actually the Olympic swimmer Michael Phelps, and he is swimming through the water with a watch, actually. And this is an example of fluid friction. And this is fluid friction because he is swimming through the water, which is a fluid. And this is also an example of harmful friction because the watch that he happens to be wearing slows his time down, whether you believe it or not. Some other swimmers could beat his time by barely a millisecond. So the best way to reduce or eliminate this sort of friction is take off the watch. So yeah, harmful fluid friction. Alright, in this next example I have here, this is an example of sliding friction. And the reason this is sliding friction and not fluid friction is because sliding friction takes place when you're sliding over an object. The wakeboard is sliding over the water. And fluid friction is when you you have to be inside of the water in order to have fluid friction take place. And this is an example of helpful sliding friction because if the wakeboarder hadn't had sliding friction in this case, he wouldn't be sliding around and doing tricks and jumping and doing all of these crazy stunts. And yeah, this is an example of helpful sliding friction. Alright, in this last example I have here, this is an example of rolling friction. And rolling friction takes place, as I said in one of my earlier slides, when something changes in temperature, or it adheres, or deformation in an object, so on and so forth. Basically, this is an example of helpful rolling friction because in this case of rolling friction, the tires are being deformed to the street. So it helps roll or move the momentum of the car forward and propel it forward. That's why it's an example of helpful friction. Because if it wasn't in that, if it didn't have the deformation or anything like that and propel the car forward, the car would not move at all. Alright guys, this is the end of my presentation. Hope you enjoyed, hope you learned something new, and yeah, have a good day.